Have you ever had a conversation like this?
Absolutely, yes. Now, on the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third.
Do you know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who is on first?
Have you got a first baseman on first?
Certainly.
Then who's playing first?
Absolutely.
The joke in the clip is that the first guy thinks who, why, what, where, why, when, and how are all questions, like most of us would. The other guy, on the other hand, knows that they're names of players on the team. Because neither guy stops to actually discuss what they're talking about or what the definitions of those terms are, they're just like hamsters going around in a wheel. They can't get anywhere. This need to find common ground is something that every LDer faces, and that's why today we're going to discuss framework. The first part of your framework is definitions of the resolution. These are specific words in the resolution that you feel the judge needs to understand are defined in a particular way so that your case makes the most sense. Take this one for example. A good friend does not lie. Well, does everyone have the same definition of a good friend? Does everyone have the same definition of lie? In order for the judge to understand how you're coming at the topic, you have to define for them terms such as good, friend, or lie. This is going to be the first point of argument in your case because your opponent might argue them differently, where you might say a good friend is someone who never lies. They might say a good friend is somebody who protects your feelings. That's the first point you have to get to in a debate, is making sure your terms are defined. The second part of a framework is called a value. The value is the driving principle behind the argument. Let's take the topic we just used and put it in a real-world scenario. Imagine that your friend goes to a party that you weren't invited to. They don't want to tell you because they know it's going to hurt your feelings even though they really want to go. So after they go, they don't tell you. You wouldn't have gone either way, but at least you didn't have to know that they went without you and have your feelings hurt. You get upset because you feel that your friend shouldn't have lied to you. So you're valuing trust. No matter the particulars, you value trust. He broke your trust. On the other hand, your friend says that trust, no trust, he didn't want to hurt your feelings and he felt that that was more important than anything else, and so they're valuing sensitivity. In your framework, you're going to argue which one of these two things is most important in that scenario, just like you would in a normal topic. What principle is the most important when arguing that topic? This is the second point of contention because you want to illustrate that where you're looking at it from is the most important way to look at it. The last part of any framework is a value criterion. A value criterion is a way of measuring if your principle, in fact, is happening. In our scenario before, you're trying to figure out whether or not a person is being trustworthy or sensitive, and so you need a way to tell that. In the real world, it might be something as simple as, say, not lying, or it might be something as being sensitive to somebody's feelings, saying things in a nice way. You get the idea. In Lincoln Douglas, a lot of times we use social and political philosophy because a lot of people way smarter than us have come up with ways to look at these things. So as you go through it, you'll find different things. You'll hear terms like social contract or utilitarianism, and we'll get to all of those later. But right now, just understand that part of the idea is that you're trying to measure whether or not your value is actually happening in regards to the resolution. And also remember, you're not just saying for your case or your position, but also for theirs. It should not just measure if your value is happening, but if your opponent's value is happening too. It is the preferable method of measurement.